Going to call the meeting to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Dr. Fike? Here. Mr. Frund?
Here.
Mr. Liza?
Here.
Mrs. Geyer?
Oh, here.
Mrs. O'Rear?
Here.
Mr. Polakowski? Mr. Shipley? Did he leave?
Yes.
Mrs. Smith?
Here.
Mrs. Williams?
Here.
Tyson Martin? Brighton Montgomery?
Here.
So I just wanted to announce that we were in executive session prior to this meeting for some personnel and legal matters. Mr. Shipley and Mr. Polakowski have asked to be excused this evening. Do we have any citizens' comments?
I have none.
Minutes of April 21st, 2022 discussion meeting.
Board is asked to approve the minutes of the April 21st, 2022 discussion meeting.
I need a motion.
So moved.
I need a second.
Second.
Discussion.
Michelle, would you please have the record change that I did come late, but I was in attendance
On the 21st?
for the last meeting we had. Yeah, because I was outside having another conference.
On the 28th?
Yeah, the 28th.
Okay.
Please, thank you.
Is there any other discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Minutes of April 28th, 2022 voting meeting.
The board is asked to approve the minutes of the April 28th, 2022 voting meeting.
I need a motion.
So moved.
I need a second.
Second.
Discussion. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Monthly board treasurer's report.
Board is asked to approve the treasurer's report for the month of March 2022.
I need a motion.
So moved.
I need a second.
Second.
Discussion. Roll call.
Dr. Fike?
Yes.
Mr. Frund?
Yes.
Mrs. Geyer?
Yes.
Mr. Liza?
Yes.
Mrs. O'Rear?
Yes.
Mrs. Smith?
Yes.
Mrs. Williams?
Yes.
Motion carries 7 yes, 2 absent.
General Fund Board Summary Report.
Board is asked to approve the board summary report for March.
I need a motion.
So moved.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
Is this board summary report our legal fees, Michelle? Is it in this one?
I believe it should be in this one, right?
Yeah,
Or is it the accounting and the check summary
Oh,
listing?
I'm sorry. Okay, thank you.
That would be the
Yeah,
next
I know
one.
which one. Okay, thank you. Mhm.
Any other discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Frund?
Yes.
Mrs. Geyer?
Yes.
Mr. Liza?
Yes.
Mrs. O'Rear?
Yes.
Mrs. Smith?
Yes.
Dr. Fike?
Yes.
Mrs. Williams?
Yes.
Motion carries 7 yes, 2 absent.
You can produce them.
Accounting and food service check summary listing.
Board is asked to approve the fund accounting and food service check summary listing for April.
I need a motion.
So moved.
I need a second.
Second.
Discussion.
We received one bill for legal services for, I think, $5,800. For the last 10 months, we've paid $47,700 and some dollars in legal fees. In the past, we always got a report. We got a report as to what was involved, and we are requesting that that be reinstated so that we know what that $47,700 for was for the 10 months. We're not asking for names or anything like that. We're asking for categories, like we used to get in the past.
Yes, Dr. Fike, we can look into that and I'll produce a report for you
Okay,
that
thank you.
addresses that.
You might be able to go back and look at our previous board minutes or board meetings. That was always under Mr. Patonik's report. Is there any other discussion? Roll call.
Mrs. Geyer?
Yes.
Mr. Lizzo?
Yes.
Mrs. O'Rear?
Yes.
Mrs. Smith?
Yes.
Dr. Fike?
Yes.
Mr. Friend?
Yes.
Mrs. Williams?
Yes.
Motion carries, 7 yes, 2 absent.
Cyber charter expense analysis.
That was the informational purposes. Ms. Mondock, do you have any updates?
Basically, I just keep a watch on this line item because obviously it's something of concern. Through March, we are still behind the 2021 fiscal year expenses, so that's a good thing. I'm hoping that that continues. I'm hoping that we do not blow through our budget, but right now, it's looking like we might.
Building activity fund information.
Once again, that's the informational purposes, and I don't know, Ms. Mondock, if there's been any updates.
There hasn't. This is just basically, I ask all of the buildings to provide a listing of what the expenditures were on so that you could all see.
Pam, are you okay with what they're giving you?
I am.
Everything looks in order?
It looks in order.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Any other discussion about that? Okay, superintendent information.
Yes, we are nearing the end of the school year. We also have wrapped up PSSA testing. They have all been boxed, sent off, and the appropriate notifications have been sent to DRC. We're also in the process right now of finishing our Keystone testing. They will also be packaged up, boxed, and sent out, and the appropriate reporting will be filled with those. So I can't believe that we're nearing another end of the school year. That would be all right.
Okay. Business manager, transportation director information.
Yes. I passed out before the meeting started this evening projections for how we would fund the high school roof. I can tell you that I did receive some information today from NDS, which is a part of TMR Roofing, which was recommended to us to do the infrared scans. Looking at what they sent me thus far, the Scottsdale complex has 2,200 square foot of compromised wet roofing. The high school has a percentage of the roof that is actually wet. I did talk with the gentleman from Garland. They should be getting a rather in-depth report for us next week. One of the gentlemen had been ill, so it kind of put them a little bit behind, but he did call me today. And they are working on that for us for next week sometime, so that we know whether or not we have to look at replacing it in the 22-23 fiscal year versus the 23-24 fiscal year, which is where I had it in the 3-year plan. So what I decided to do was I had spoken with the gentleman from PFM who basically helped us with acquire our debt. And they had told me at one point in time if we needed to know what the impact to our budget was to just give them a call and they'll help us out. So what I did was I gave them the dollar amounts that are projected for the high school roof, and also one for the high school roof and the football turf. Now, just so that, and I know you're looking at this going, what the heck is this? I can tell you that when you're looking at the column black and column 4, that is our current debt structure. So when you look at that, for example, at the end of this fiscal year, our local existing effort was $1,971,441. So what they did was they looked at the schedule and they said, okay, what does that look like for 15 years? What does that look like for 20 years? And what does that look like for 9 years with the wraparounds? Now, what I can tell you first of all is when you're looking at a useful life for a roof, I can't imagine a lender, to be quite honest with you, giving us a 20-year loan because the useful life of a roof is about 20 years. So that doesn't make sense to them. Honestly, I'm not sure they're going to give us 15 years either, same thing, because of the useful life of what we're buying, what we're borrowing the funds for. However, when you look at the column in green that says estimated annual local effort, and the dollar amounts. So for example, if we did this in the 22-23 fiscal year, and like I said, this is an estimate because, you know, at today's borrowing rates, those type things, obviously that's an unknown factor because God knows right now we're in a very volatile period. Actually, in the whole world is at this point. But they're estimating that for the roof only, it would put an additional $51,600 to borrow the additional $3,378,000 for the roof, which would make our local effort $22,040,790. Now, if you look at the new local effort, you're going to say, oh, geez, but in 1 year, in the 2029 year, we have to pay $663,000. That's because it's somewhat escalated. But if you look at the new local effort on column 11, if you look at that debt service payment, it's fairly consistent. So that's what they try to do in a wraparound type situation. They try to keep your debt service payment fairly consistent so that it doesn't impact your budget negatively. Like I said, if we do it the first year, it's around $51,600 just for the roof. If we would do the football turf with it and roll that into it as well, because quite honestly, I don't know if we're going to be able to absorb the cost of a new football field, you know, without getting some additional financing. They're projecting that would be an additional $56,333. Then the following years, it goes up to, for the turf, $144,600, and in that range until you get to year 2029, which has the large wraparound payment, and then the following year. But like I said, looking at that on the side, your local effort remains fairly consistent. Same thing with the projections for the roof and the football turf. The first year is $56,333 for the additional financing. Then the following year is $158,800. So like I said, it's something that, you know, I wanted to look at to see, you know, if we do happen to get the worst news when we do meet with Garland in regard to the infrared scan that we had them do, if we have to move sooner rather than later, I wanted to know if we could indeed afford it. And with this, I think we can. It's just, you know, obviously, I just wanted to make you all aware of the impact and what we could be facing. Does anybody have any questions, comments?
I totally agree. Yeah, we're going to be needing a turf here in the next 2 to 3 years. What are we doing with the tennis courts?
Well, right now that was out on the final projections. That was in year 24-25. So I did not include that in this financing.
Okay.
So I just looked at, because like I said, right now I had in year 23-24, I believe I also had the turf in there. So therefore, I figured it was the same year. I wanted to look to see what we needed to do at that point.
Are our girls playing, our tennis teams are not playing here?
No.
So I think if
They
we're
haven't
talking
played on
about
it the last
borrowing
year.
money, I think that should be added
You want
to
to
that. I would like to see
what that
what that would be as well.
Okay.
They have been playing on them, he's saying, which is
Practicing or
probably not
actually
even
playing?
saying.
Played and practiced on them.
So I would like to see
It's pretty
That's
bad.
awful.
that added to
Okay.
it. If we have to do it,
I
that
could-
needed
Okay.
done 20 years ago.
Yeah.
I mean,
They're
it's not
really
as much as
bad.
the turf, I don't believe.
No, it's not as much as the turf.
There are some issues up there, though, that are going to warrant some engineering probably, because it's basically an entire, we let that go too long that it's basically an entire redo, not a resurface.
If we redo the football field, is there an opportunity to put tennis courts on that surface?
On the football field?
Yeah.
That I don't know.
There's a lot of protected swamp down there. I don't know if swamp's the right word.
Well, you saw like
Wetland.
an all-inclusive field, like an all-inclusive
grass-
field, like
grass court.
Latrobe.
What was that? I'm sorry.
Like an all-inclusive field like Latrobe has, like where they have like soccer, they have everything on in one area. I wish we could have that. Oh my gosh, that would be fantastic.
I don't know. There was some issues when we did talk about moving them down, but like then we kind of stopped the process. So I think if we're going to redo them, they would warrant discussion of where it would be best placed, because maybe it's not best where it is if if underneath that is an issue.
Is that what you meant?
Yeah.
An all-inclusive, okay.
Yeah, I don't know if they have
I
to
didn't
play
know
on
you could put
asphalt.
tennis courts on it.
I don't know. Do you know?
I don't know.
Most schools are
I don't know.
asphalt, so I think it's probably
Asphalt,
asphalt.
yeah. I don't know what,
But I
guess
just
that would
think
be
if we're
regulations.
talking this, we probably need to think about including that
Okay.
versus pushing that out when the surface that they're playing on isn't the safest.
Okay, I can definitely contact PFM and have them rerun numbers for me so that you all can see. But like I said, I wanted to take a few moments because this isn't, for me, I'm used to looking at these type things, but I wanted to kind of explain to you guys like what exactly you're looking at.
Absolutely.
So we're
And-
already
think this is
making the black
beautiful.
payments.
I don't understand.
Pardon me?
We're already making the
Correct.
payments. They're black.
Correct,
Okay.
yes.
I mean,
I
do
have
now.
a question.
That's
In the
okay.
year 2029, or I'm sorry, maybe the year 2030, there's a $2 million, over $2 million payoff. Can they renegotiate that at the time?
It depends upon how the debt is structured, how the contract of the debt is
I
structured.
think there was one that we had that you could pay off different, but then,
But like I said, if you look at the very end of the column, your debt structure is basically status quo. And it kind of keeps it consistent so that in your budget, you already know, I have to budget $2 million for debt service. So that's,
Other stuff would be paid off so that we could pay that one off.
Some are worse than others.
Okay.
yeah. So that's kind of where we are with that. I did want to give you a brief update. I did reach out to Mr. Scheller at Eccles regarding the rooftop units. And we have a call scheduled with him tomorrow to kind of get an update and to see exactly where we are with all of that. Because obviously, to me, that's something that I want to keep the pressure on them so that we can get things moving with them. Pardon me? Well, right now, Tony, when you look at this, or Mr. Liz, I'm sorry, when you look at
2029.
2029,
That's when it gets paid off.
right now, with the current debt service, yes.
That's what I'm saying.
Yes, but this extends it to 2031. Okay? So if that kind of gives you, puts that in context, but, nobody likes debt, but unfortunately, at this point in time, we haven't been saving the funds, we haven't been able to acquire the funds in which to pay cash for it, so we've got to do something to keep things, my famous statement, safe, warm, and dry for the kids.
What concerns me is that with the high school and the other buildings, eventually we're going to have to do some renovations, okay?
I know.
It doesn't last long, so how's it going to figure out into this?
Yep.
Then you have to fly in other bonds and stuff like that, so.
Is everything done at the primary center now?
I don't think, did they put that flash, I think it's called flashing? I don't think they put the flashing up.
Pam, are you going to talk about the tax increase related to the
What, we're actually going to table the taxes right now, because we had talked about that before the meeting, that we're going to table that motion right now until I get some more information from the state.
But Pam, we're putting out a preliminary budget in 2 weeks, or another week or so.
I mean,
Next week. I mean, we can discuss it,
we can
but
certainly discuss it.
we're not sure the numbers are. We want to make sure, double check that the numbers are.
You have to put
accurate.
something out. And right now, it's not looking good for the tax increase.
No, it's not. It's not. And right now, the way that it rebalanced, it actually increased Westmoreland County and decreased Fayette County.
Right, right.
And even before we implemented any tax increase whatsoever, the rebalancing put almost a mill onto Westmoreland County.
Pam, we could be talking 4 or 5 mills here in total increases. I mean, I think the public needs to know that's what's going to come out next week, next Thursday.
We do.
Right, but like I said, because of some of the situations that transferred that transpired last year. I just want to verify that our starting numbers that are coming through the state website application is indeed correct. So it could dramatically change that.
I think it'll change.
It could, yes.
Will it get better?
That is my hope. So that is,
It's not looking good because
it's not looking good, no.
someone from Bell Vernon had shared with me that they had some rebalancing going on as well, and because they're Fayette and Westmoreland as well. So
They are.
it's
and it-
very confusing for those of you that have never looked at the PDE budget form. I learned that form inside and out last year.
The RETR form.
But there's these numbers that come down, and it's a percentage is Fayette and a percentage is Westmoreland. And when they rebalance things, it's out of our control. We don't have anything to do with that.
Right.
Just new numbers came in the rebalancing, and it put more of the tax burden
on
Westmoreland.
Westmoreland County, because unfortunately, that's how it all shook down. But like I said, we want to make sure that what we're providing to the public is indeed correct, because,
But we need to know something by next Thursday.
oh, absolutely.
Right. We will be meeting next Thursday, 7 p.m. to vote on the preliminary budget.
Yes, because I have an email right now into the state. I will be contacting Bell Vernon tomorrow evening, or tomorrow during the day, not tomorrow evening. They won't be there. And so that is my hope. But like I said, I want to make sure that it is indeed correct what we're giving before we actually provide it.
I think us and Bell Vernon, we're the only two that had that cross-county thing, I think.
Between Fayette
Cross-county?
and Westmoreland?
Yeah, I think it's only.
There are other multi-county districts, because I've actually been working with the business manager at Cwctc. She's been assisting me since this is my first time with a multi-county, and she has Armstrong and Westmoreland.
That's right, they crossover up there.
There are other, and I believe Leechburg also has
Leechburg, that's West Leechburg.
has part Westmoreland and Armstrong as well.
They have West Leechburg in there, yeah.
Yeah, so like I said, there are other districts that, are facing some of the same challenges, but like I said, I want to make sure that the challenges that are projected are indeed correct, because obviously, I'm not immune to the fact that we have, an aging demographics. I have friends and family that live within the district, and I want to make sure that, I'm right with what we're projecting before we put it out there.
We'll get a copy of that before the meeting.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am. As soon as I get things worked out with PDE and with Psba, absolutely. Yes.
Do you have anything else for us?
I don't believe so. I think that's it.
Thank you. Solicitor's information?
I have nothing to present tonight, President Williams.
There's a few of them.
Thank you. Students report.
First off, I would like to say congratulations to April's Scotty Scholar, Eva Prestia, and congratulations also to April's Spirit of Southmoreland student, Benjamin Yeski. Congratulations to May's Scotty Scholar, Sarah Ham, and congratulations also to May's Spirit of Southmoreland student, Olivia Johnson. Congratulations to May's Cwctc Scotty Scholar Award winners, David Dugan and Haley Pennington. Senior Class Day will be held on May 27th, starting at 7:45 a.m. in the high school auditorium. Commencement rehearsal and ticket distribution will be May 31st in the high school auditorium. June 3rd, commencement will be held in the high school auditorium at 7 p.m. May 31st, the Scholars Banquet at 6:30 in the high school cafeteria. After watching a documentary in class and Zooming with the author and director of the documentary, Dr. Marcus Rediger and Mr. Tony Boba, students in Mrs. Hickson's AP Language and Composition created original research questions for further study. This project concluded with a field trip to the Carnegie Library to conduct research. Student council members took the time to appreciate our teachers during National Teacher Appreciation Week by surprising all the teachers with little treats each day. They had M&Ms for more and more things teachers do to make our school great, Teddy Grahams for being the very best, a notepad to take note of the great teachers we have, and Swedish fish to officially show our appreciation. And for Bots IQ, on Friday, April 29th and Saturday, April 30th, 58 teams from 41 high schools participated in the 17th annual Bots IQ final competitions at California University of Pennsylvania. Southmoreland High School's team, Roman Revenge, did not fare well in the arena. However, they did show exemplary work in their team interview and documentation portfolio by achieving first place for the second year in a row. Team members were presented with a trophy and a $500 prize check. We'd also like to recognize the graduating seniors, Daniel Sosko and Madison Nicolo, who have participated in the Bots IQ program for 2 years in a row. Dan has served as the team captain this year and assistant captain last year. Maddie has served as the secretary this year and treasurer last year. Both are looking forward to their studies at Penn State Fayette in the fall. And lastly, I would like to thank the school board for allowing me to be the student representative this year, and that I enjoyed attending the meetings every month. That's all I have.
Thank you for being with us. It's great to see what's going on in the building. Cwctc update.
Yep, I can reiterate what he said. We had 2 students receive awards. David Dugan, he's in the electrical occupations technology, and Haley Pennington is in the health occupations. They received, she was October, and I believe he was, I'm sorry, I don't have it in front of me, but they both received basically Student of the Month at Cwctc. They are up to 1,268 students enrolled for next year. Southmoreland currently has 97 students for next year, which is definitely more than we had last year. Still lower than a lot of the other districts, but I think we're going in the right direction here. They are bringing a lot of different things into these kids, and I think it's just an incredible opportunity for them. So that is, oh, we had Dr. Oz visit the Cwctc last week or the week before, I think it was. He came and toured the whole building and saw 16 of the 20 programs and went in and talked to the kids. Like the Cwct has reminded everyone, they will accept anyone who would like to come politically, whether they are Democrat or Republican. If they would like to come see the Cwctc, they may. But he was very personable. He really took interest in the kids, and I think the kids enjoyed seeing him there, and he was asked a lot of questions of them. They are continuing their road show throughout the summer. They're going to be visiting some different areas. They're going to be visiting actually some public libraries, doing programs for kids to say what they offer, some programs for parents of kids so they know what is going on. So they're doing great.
Christy, they had student recognition night Monday night.
Yes, Monday night. Yep.
Sunday night, yeah. It went real well.
Okay, thank you. WIU information.
I gave the April report at the last meeting, and our next one is on May 31st, and so I'll report on that after we have that meeting.
Okay, thank you. Sba Liaison Report.
I have nothing to report.
Sba Legislative Report.
I think that's me. They had a meeting on Thursday. Nicole, did you attend? No. Okay. I did not attend, but they did send a recap of the presentation. They sent the PowerPoint out. There are some House bills that are very significant if they are passed. House Bill 2169, called Lifeline Scholarships. It passed the House, and it's the first time that the House has passed a voucher bill. So it now moves to the Senate, and this one allows parents in low-performing schools or special education students, including 504 students and gifted students, to apply for scholarship, and the money used for the scholarships are deducted from the school district's state allocations, with only transportation subsidies being excluded. So that would be a really big hardship for us if that passes. There would be the only accountability that would be required with the Auditor General to conduct random audits of the scholarship program each year. So obviously, Psba is opposed to this. They're estimating that the total cost to all districts would be approximately $170 million annually. So that would be
Detrimental.
It would be really bad. There's some other things that are coming out. There's just one more I wanted to talk about. I just have to find it. There is a bill listed for third consideration, Excellence in Education for All. The tuition reimbursement savings in the amendment to Senate Bill 1 only equates to about a 2% savings annually over 3 years and will not keep up with the increased escalation of charter school tuition. Districts will continue to pay more each year for charter school tuition, even with the proposed reimbursements. The amended bill provides a small reimbursement to school districts for charter school tuition as follows. Year 1, $250 per regular ed student, $500 per special ed student. Year 2, $500 for regular ed, $1,000 for special ed. And year 3, $750 per regular ed, $1,500 per special ed. Charter school tuition is projected to grow at $400 annually per regular education student. At the end of 3 years, districts will pay an increase of $1,200 in regular education charter tuition and only receive $750 in reimbursement from the state. So there's also some talk with the EITC money, allowing that to expand. There are some bills listed to limit school districts' temporary emergency powers. Those are still up. The Senate Bill 527 automatically escalates the education tax credit, which is EITC, and opportunity tax credit, OSTC, caps by 25% each fiscal year when at least 90% of the respective available tax credits are claimed in the previous fiscal year. I think that's all I need to. They did say the governor's education budget. He's asking, I mean, what we are supposed to maybe get if it passes is great, but historical trend indicates the governor will get about 25% of his request.
And that's basically what I've heard as well.
Yeah.
200,000.
So we are supposed to, as a district, get an increase of $900,000. Historically, it's only 25% of that. So that's probably what we might hopefully get.
200,000, 25.
Which is a big difference.
Yeah, we'll take it.
Yeah.
It'd be great if we had it all, but we'll take
Right.
what we could get.
That's all.
That's like $700,000 less than we were hoping for.
Well, and think about it, I also have the full amount in there for the special ed funding in
Right.
what in the governor's budget, so I've already budgeted some of that increase.
Wow.
Does anybody have any questions on that? Okay, so moving into committee reports, buildings, grounds, and safety, we have not met since the last report. Finance, district operations, and transportation, I was not able to be at the last two meetings because of my schedule and being sick. Is there anything other than just budget, which will be presented?
Christy, what she reported is what we did.
Right.
We've had meetings.
Right.
What Pam reported would be our report for
So,
that.
and then next Thursday, there will be a special meeting for the preliminary budget to discuss with all of us. Personnel policy and academics.
We haven't had a meeting since the last time I reported. We are to have a meeting next Thursday at 7 o'clock, which we just now scheduled a board meeting for that time. So we will no longer be having that meeting. We'll have to find a way to advertise another one.
Non-academic, athletics, and extracurricular.
We haven't had a meeting since April. Is it April? Yeah, April. But we do have, one thing I wanted to touch, I know Mr. Friend and Mr. Shipley had touched base on it, but there's also a possible questioning of doing a co-op with swimming. Nothing is, set in stone whatsoever. It hasn't even in the preliminary process to be brought to the board, but it was just something that, a couple parents had questioned to see if it was something that could be brought up. So I just kind of wanted to fill that out. We have some fantastic athletes, like Mr. Boring had sent an email regarding, we had 9 of our Scotty athletes competing and walked away with 9 total medals for track and field. So I think that's fantastic. Our Southmoreland softball team is currently at the quarterfinals right now, tonight. I believe the game started at 6 or 6:30. So that's some awesome news. think we, should give them all big congratulations because they're doing very well. So.
And boys baseball had made it to the
Oh, yes.
playoffs
I'm
since
sorry.
the
Yes.
first time since 2008, I think he said in his email.
I think they went last year. I think they went to the first round in last year, but same outcome. But they've done a fantastic job during their season. What did you say? I'm sorry.
A good spring.
Yes, very good spring. Yes. Yeah.
Very good. Okay, does anybody else have anything else that falls under committee reports? Okay, remove from the table student discipline issue.
Board is asked to remove from the table student discipline issue, which had been tabled on April 28th, 2022.
So I need a motion to remove it from the table.
So moved.
I need a second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'm sorry, was there any discussion? Student discipline issue.
Board is asked to decline the adjudication determination in a student disciplinary matter for student 101992. It has been determined that the student is no longer a resident of our district.
I need a motion. I
Second.
need a second. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Lizzo?
Yes.
Mrs. O'Rear?
Yes.
Mrs. Smith?
Yes.
Dr. Fike?
Yes.
Mr. Frund?
Yes.
Mrs. Geyer?
Yes.
Mrs. Williams?
Yes.
Motion carries 7 yes, 2 absent.
Assessment appeal settlement.
Board is asked to authorize its solicitor to enter into an settlement agreement for the Countryside Plaza property assessment appeals, reassessing parcel map numbers 47-11-00-0-130 and 47-11-00-0-131 at a combined total assessment of $1,550,000.
You need a motion.
So moved.
You need a second. Discussion.
How much of a loss is this to the school district? How much in revenues?
We did, I believe it's a reduction of about 18,000.
Is that accounted for in next year's budget?
Unfortunately, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So we don't have to take another 18,000 off. Okay, so that's good.
No, but it's still
Yeah.
a hit.
There is money within, if I'm correct, there's a line item that allows for tax appeals.
Yes.
Is it again? I didn't
Yes.
There is a line item within the budget that is already built in that, at least it was last
Yep.
year.
Yep,
It
tax
says
appeals.
tax appeals. So
Oh, okay.
it's money that we're,
much is it?
possibly could lose.
That I don't know off the top of my head either. But yeah, there is a line item that is for tax appeals, because I remember, in fact, whenever I was just working on the state's website, it was one of the ones I looked into last year and said, okay, it's in the fund balance. You have to basically, unless you guys vote on to change it, I have to continue forward with it, and it is part of the assign that it's for tax appeals.
If something were to, improve, is that something that we would take to a vote to have it being reassessed?
So it depends on the situation. Typically, you need to pull a building permit before you can do any sort of substantial work, renovating or developing a property. And then the county will next year increase the value of the property. It's not always necessarily dollar for dollar, but normally just upon the building permit being closed out, there will be an increase. Now, occasionally, the county doesn't increase it enough, or we have reason to believe the improvements are worth more than what the county has recognized. At that point, we do have appellate rights. We can intervene and seek a greater increase.
I think that National Envelope Building needs to be looked at again because they are using that property now.
Oh, even more than they were even a year ago.
Yes. I think that's definitely
A
something.
lot of business going on.
They had a very substantial decrease, and that building was in very poor condition. So I believe with the amount of vehicles I've seen over there, there obviously has to have been some work done in that building to make people using the space again.
Huntington, I'm not sure.
Any other discussion on this? Roll call?
Mrs. O'Rear.
Yes.
Mrs. Smith.
Yes.
Dr. Fike.
Is this on the concrete leveling?
No, this is the
No.
assessment appeal.
Oh, yes, the answer is yes. The next one's no. Okay, the answer is yes.
Mr. Friend.
Yes.
Mrs. Geyer.
Yes.
Mr. Lizza.
Yes.
Mrs. Williams.
Yes.
Motion carries, 7 yes, 2 absent.
Concrete leveling additional work.
Board is asked to approve additional concrete leveling work at the middle elementary school front parking walkway and elementary school rear maintenance patio walkway in the amount of $1,300 that went above the original scope of work.
So I need a motion.
So moved.
I need a second.
Second.
Discussion.
So they did this work already?
They did not.
They did not. They just found it while they were doing other work.
I did call the office. I wasn't able to talk to the gentleman that was actually here to do the work, but I did verify with Hannah at Big Bear that the work had definitely not been completed. It was my understanding that the reason why, when I received the initial email when Mr. Basham was still here, was because these sidewalks apparently needed additional foam underneath them, so that's why they weren't completed at the time.
So this puts those particular pads not in compliance.
Correct. They would be ADA compliant right now.
Is there any other discussion?
I'm not following it. Like, because they already did the assessment on it to see, like, what it would cost, which then we approved.
But now we have to remember too, in going backwards, they gave us an estimate and then we all drug our feet for a year and then here we are. So that could have deteriorated further between when they were out here and walked the property and I don't think you would know how much foam something's going to take until, I mean, I don't know. But we do have these slabs that are still out of compliance. That's the problem. Any other discussion?
Off with it. It just doesn't make sense.
Any other discussion? Roll call.
Mrs. Smith.
Yes.
Dr. Fike.
No.
Mr. Friend.
Yes.
Mrs. Geyer.
Yes.
Mr. Lizza.
Yes.
Mrs. O'Rear.
No.
Mrs. Williams.
Yes.
Motion carries, 5 yes, 2 no, 2 absent.
WIU number 7, notice of policies, procedures, and use of funds.
Board is asked to approve the Westmoreland Intermediate Unit's notice of policies, procedures, and use of funds.
I need a motion.
So moved.
I need a second.
Second.
Discussion. Roll call.
Dr. Fike.
Yes.
Mr. Friend.
Yes.
Mrs. Geyer.
Yes.
Mr. Lizza.
Yes.
Mrs. O'Rear.
Yes.
Mrs. Smith.
Yes.
Mrs. Williams.
Yes.
Motion carries, 7 yes, 2 absent.
Donation from Southmoreland Girls Softball Association.
Board is asked to approve and accept a donation of $1,450 from the Southmoreland Girls Softball Association toward the purchase of a new scoreboard.
I need a motion.
So moved.
I need a discussion.
Have we, never mind. We'll get to that later. We looked into pulling.
You'll see further down in the board docs. I did find where there was money to pull if that's what you all wanted to do. It's it's entirely up to you.
Okay. Thank you. Did we motion it?
Yeah, I'm just deciding if I have discussion to give on this.
So this is coming from, these amounts are coming from the stadium field at the high school, general supplies from girls softball,
Yeah,
maintenance department,
right.
replacement equipment district-wide.
Unfortunately, the athletic budget is very tight to begin with, and, excuse me, and there are some teams that are out there that are currently in championship runs, so we'll need some additional funding for that. So that's why I looked into the buildings and grounds to see if we had any funds that I could pull from there in order to have this funded, if that's what you all chose to do.
So I've changed my stance on this and looking at a couple of things that are, I'm just going to go to the high school musical because that's the one that stands out the most in my mind of something that is basically the majority of is funded through the Boosters organization. We have a very limited budget within the district that barely pays the salaries of the people that come in and work with our students. That leaves costumes, programs, providing meals to these kids that are here during practice days. I just feel like, yes, they're paying a portion of money to improve the field there, but it's really no different than what the Boosters organization is providing for our students to be able to participate in a musical. And quite frankly, if the Booster organization did not provide what they do for the musical, we would not be having a musical. So that's why my stance on this has changed. I feel like that's why the Boosters organizations are truly there, is to help support these kids. I think it's great that they have the funding. I'm sorry that we don't have the funding, but in listening to the budget issues and concerns, I'm in favor of accepting their donation. I just think that when they're offering and we don't take, and then we have other people who aren't basically offering up to fundraise the entire program, that's kind of where I am. I just wanted to say why my position has changed after some thought. Is there any other discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Friend?
No.
Mrs. Geyer?
Yes.
Mr. Lizza?
Yes.
Mrs. O'Rear?
No.
Mrs. Smith?
Yes.
Dr. Fike?
Yes, and thank you.
Yeah, I agree. That's,
Williams?
yes. I certainly agree. Thank you. And thank you for all the hard work that all of the Boosters organizations within the district do to help provide things for our students that we as a district just quite honestly aren't able to afford anymore.
Motion carried. 5 yes, 2 no, 2 absent.
Purchase and installation of new scoreboard for girls softball.
The board is asked to approve the purchase and installation of a new scoreboard for the girls softball field. Current scoreboard is nearing the end of its time and needs to be updated. The price for the scoreboard, 2 panels, wireless controller, and installation would be $6,485. The scoreboard would be funded through the following: the Sports Matters grant through Dick's Sporting Goods of $5,000 and $1,485 from the general fund. The installation would include the removal of the existing equipment, lifting and attaching new equipment, and making the scoreboard operational.
I move to amend that.
That's not accurate.
Well,
Since we
Well,
accepted
first-
the
accepted
donation,
the
it's now in the
donation.
general fund, right?
yes,
That's right.
Yeah,
the money is now in the general fund, correct?
yeah, so that's right.
I don't,
So
Oh,
that
the
is-
money's in the general fund.
Yes,
Oh,
because we accepted the donation.
perfect, okay, perfect. Thank you.
So
I think we still need a motion.
About that
second
step.
For this
for this
particular
one,
motion.
right?
Yeah.
So I need a motion.
so
I'll
moved.
move.
Second. Mr.
Second.
Liz as a second. Discussion. Roll call.
Mrs. Geyer?
Yes.
Mr. Lizza,
Yes.
Mrs. O'Rear,
Who's going to be installing this? Sorry, that question just popped into my head.
That I will have to check with Mr. Boring. He's been making all the arrangements for all of this. So I'll have to check
I
with
wonder if that's going to cost.
It says the installation would include the removal
It's included.
and attaching new equipment.
Sorry, I didn't hear that part.
That's okay. It's at the bottom of the thing.
Mrs. O'Rear,
Yes. Sorry.
Mrs. Smith,
Yes.
Dr. Fike,
Yes.
Mr. Friend,
Yes.
Mrs. Williams.
Yes.
Motion carries, 7 yes, 2 absent.
And then I need a motion to table,
So moved.
We're not tabling it, are we? Because we're never bringing it back.
Yeah. To expunge it, I guess. So.
we were
Is that number 6 we have to change?
we still table,
Well, we-
correct? We just don't bring it back from the table.
Number 6, Christian.
Or do we vote on it and then
Do we
just?
vote
could-
and
you
just
could-
say no?
Yeah, number 6.
You could pass on if you don't have the motion in the second. But I mean, if you table it, you don't want an item sitting on the table indefinitely for,
So no one just needs to motion it.
right.
So we don't even take it up.
Yeah, don't take it up.
Okay, so I still need to read it then. Budget transfer in the amount of $1,485 for a new scoreboard for girls softball.
The board is asked to approve the enclosed budgetary transfer of $1,485 for the purchase of a new scoreboard for girls softball.
I need a motion. No. Would you like to remove the motion?
Darn it.
I know I voted for it. I take it back.
So removed. He said so.
I removed the.
So removed.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to ask again, don't you?
Yeah.
I need a motion.
We're learning.
375.
I need a motion.
375.
Item dies for lack of motion.
Still dies for lack of a second.
Okay, programming of, donation from Scottsdale Volunteer Fire Company.
Board is asked to approve the donation of 6 Motorola radios and a band charger for the radios donated by the Scottsdale Volunteer Fire Department to the Southmoreland School District. These radios are of professional quality and once programmed will be a direct link to Westmoreland County's 911 and will be utilized by the school police. These radios, brand new, cost $3,000 each. The Volunteer Fire Department just purchased new radios and donated their current ones to the district. Thank you very much.
I need a motion.
So moved.
I need a second.
Second.
Discussion. Roll call.
Mrs. O'Rear,
Yes.
Mrs. Smith,
Yes.
Dr. Fike,
Yes.
Mr. Friend,
Yes, and thank
Mrs.
you.
Geyer,
Yes.
Mr. Lizza,
Yes.
Mrs. Williams.
Yes.
Motion carries, 7 yes, 2 absent.
So this
Yep.
needs,
It'll need to be amended.
Superintendent sent him a thank you letter.
yep. We do send thank you letters out for those, correct? Okay. So this is going to need amended because the dollar value
The
is.
dollar value came to
So let's read the recommended
Okay.
action. Let's
Okay.
bring it to discussion, and then we'll make the amendment at that time.
Okay. Programming of 6 Motorola radios.
So,
Oop.
go ahead.
Board is asked to approve the expenditure of up to $300 for the programming of 6 radios donated by the Scottsdale Volunteer Fire Department.
So I need a motion.
So moved.
I need a second.
Second.
Discussion.
Oh,
So the dollar value is $375. So I will need a motion to amend the motion.
so moved. I move to amend the motion.
Can I have a second? Okay. Discussion on that? Okay.
And just to clarify, the motion is to strike the amount of $300 and replace it with $375.
75.
Inflation.
Okay, so now we're going to vote on the adjusting the motion.
Yes.
Okay. So I have a first, I have a second. Any other discussion? Okay, all those in favor of adjusting the motion?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, so now I need a motion to approve the expenditure of up to $375 for the programming of, the programming of 6 radios donated by Scottsdale Fire Department.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Dr. Fike?
Yes.
Mr. Friend?
Yes.
Mrs. Geyer?
Yes.
Mr. Lizza?
Yes.
Mrs. O'Rear?
Yes.
Mrs. Smith?
Yes.
Mrs. Williams?
Yes.
Motion carries, 7 yes, 2 absent.
Sba membership renewal for 2022-2023.
The board is asked to approve the 2022-2023 Psba membership renewal at a cost for the all-access package plus administration regulations updates at a cost of $12,528.87.
I need a motion.
So moved.
I'll need a second.
I'll second if Nicole firsted.
I
Discussion.
firsted.
Discussion. Is this, I know there were some questions last week. Is that correct?
This is the all-inclusive package, yes.
Any other discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Friend?
Yes.
Mrs. Geyer?
Yes.
Mr. Lizza?
No.
Mrs. O'Rear?
No.
Mrs. Smith?
Yes.
Dr. Fike?
No.
Mrs. Williams?
Yes.
Motion fails. I think it needed 5, Mr. Deliker.
Correct.
So what happens now?
So now when I go to do my policy committee, we have to create them ourselves.
So is there something
That's
not as
one of the things.
expensive?
So wait.
This also covers,
This is also a place to advertise for free?
it's a place to advertise
No,
for free.
no, it's to advertise for $12,528.
But that also gives us all of our policy updates.
It also gives us all of our administrative regulations.
I think this will increase our legal fees.
Oh, absolutely.
Increase our legal.
Oh,
There
yes,
is no one
100%.
here
Madam
that can write
Chairman,
these
I'm
policies.
changing my vote to yes, please.
What are you talking about? Increase what legal?
How do I allow for that? Do I have to have
If
another?
Christy and
Right.
I write our
Someone
policies
who
for our
initially
policy
voted
meeting, then
no
Mr. Delahuer's
can
gonna have to make
reconsider
sure that
within
they're
the-
full.
What I'm asking
Or in
is
the
there
same
something else
meeting.
that's less expensive?
No.
No.
There's
Not,
nothing.
not that covers this.
What?
I-
How's she gonna do? She
Right.
needs to work with that.
Tony, they just put
And
a
it's not just-
boilerplate that applies to everybody everywhere, doesn't mean a thing to us.
But then if you don't have that, there is nobody here qualified to legally write a policy. We will be paying the solicitor, which we were questioning what the solicitor was billing us for earlier.
$15,000.
So I'm just
What does
saying that,
what does the standard membership include?
but it
Mr.
doesn't
Nasha?
include the,
Right, I understand. I just want to know, like, on top of all these, we pay extra for the policies. That's on top of the standard membership. So what does the standard membership include? Is there trainings?
Doesn't give you the administrative regulations.
It's $9,284.72, and it does not include, does not include live and online training. It doesn't include self-assessment with interaction, comprehensive subscription, or policy maintenance. It doesn't include any of that.
Right, I just want to know what it does include.
doesn't say.
It doesn't say.
Literally on this part that I have, it doesn't say.
No, it really does not.
I just,
Membership.
no.
So Mr. Lizza would like to change his vote.
Correct.
Do I need to do anything other than just that?
Well, I am,
Well, if we're voting next week, would you like to look up and see what all is included in the
Actually,
regular?
I just found it, to be honest.
Okay, can you tell us?
Absolutely. Standard includes legislative advocacy, legal advocacy, why can't I say that? Daily edition, video edition, state legislative editions, Keystone Education Radio, grant support programs, crisis communication services, equity resources and services, Success Starts Here, Career Gateway, Bulletin Magazine, Energy Solutions, RQD and designated online content, Zoom licensing, exclusive board docs pricing, weekly buzz and monthly exchange, My PSBA resource guides and essential series, PSBA mobile app, access to PSBA insurance trust products. Now, do you want me to tell you what it does not include, what the other one includes?
I think it's on
We have that.
this one. I think the RQ, I think that's required training that we have to do, and that gives us the required training rather than us coming up with it on our own. That's now part of code that you have to do to be on the school board.
We haven't done
training's
any
the
kind
law,
of training.
Christie.
What's that?
That required training is the law. Legislative passed that.
Right.
So they got to give it to us. You can't take away our rights.
Well, they can probably charge us for it individually.
It's not going to be $12,000.
It'll probably be 13.
And neither is having somebody else have to write every single policy we have. Just,
I think that part of this also is it not only gives us the policies, but it maintains them and tells us what is coming up, what has been outdated, what new additions are now required by PA state code. It's not just like, okay, here's
right.
this policy, it's outdated. It's like, hey, everyone in the state is supposed to now add this to their policy to be right according to state code.
And we do get a personalized service from an individual that assists us in transferring all those over to the.
So this is $12,000 pretty well spent, I would say.
Right.
Yeah.
So pursuant to Robert's rules and the rules of parliamentary procedure, if a motion has been defeated during a meeting and at least one member who voted on the winning side wants to have the vote reconsidered, such a member may make a motion to reconsider. And that would normally be read, Madam President, I move to reconsider the vote on the motion relating to, and then you insert the subject. And then you state, I voted against the motion.
Whatever I said was good enough.
So Mr. Lizza is making a motion to reconsider. He did originally vote against the motion. We would need a second. And that the second does not need to come from someone who voted against the motion. Okay. And now a voice vote.
Okay.
So, to bring it back.
Yeah, to bring it back.
This
So-
is to bring it back.
Yes, to bring it back to reconsider.
So I have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed?
No.
Okay.
6, yeah,
Okay.
6 were aye.
Okay. So I'll read so PSBA membership renewal for 2022-2023.
Board is asked to approve the 2022-2023 PSBA membership renewal at a cost for the all-access package plus administration regulation updates at a cost of $12,528.87.
I need a motion. I need a second.
Second.
Any other discussion?
We're going to raise people's taxes, and we're going to throw money at this stuff like this for a bunch of bureaucrats.
This is very important.
We can do it. We've done it for years.
We have not
Who?
done it.
Who?
I
A lot of
believe-
people.
I
Where do you
believe-
think these manuals come from, Dwayne? They existed for
SBA.
years.
So
No.
So for years, prior to Mr. Masha bringing this to the board and reinstating this, our policies were not updated. Nobody was managing our policies. The policy committee and Mr. Masha has spent grueling hours going back over trying to update all of these policies like crazy people over the course of the last year and a half. So nobody was keeping track. Nobody was doing anything. Maybe they were years ago, but I think recently that had gone by the wayside.
Or even
Go back and read the classroom
regulation.
visitation policy. Go back and read
So-
some of them.
So, may I ask a couple questions?
Yeah.
Mr. Delacour, as our solicitor, do you advise us doing this?
I can make a recommendation on whether or not
Are
to
you
renew.
able to create policies for us?
That would have a cost associated with it that is outside the scope of your retainer.
Right.
And that could conceivably be significantly more expensive than the program package that is outlined in this proposal.
So you probably would say that you could do, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Hearsay, objection?
I don't want to recommend a course of action that's going to result in a higher legal bill for you.
Yes.
So,
Mrs.
from that
Monda.
perspective,
Thank
this
you.
would be the better fit approach from a fiscal perspective.
Mrs. Mondak, do you believe that you are capable of writing these policies?
I don't have a legal degree, So I would be fearful of putting something in a policy that might get us in a situation where litigation might be involved.
Mr. Masha, same question.
I've worked with the policy committee for a year and a half, and I don't have the legal expertise, and I know how untelling they are and how difficult they would be, and I do not believe I have the capacity to write every policy.
And does anyone know of another option?
You changed the date.
Oh, no,
Then
that's
everything's
actually
outdated.
not. No, honestly, Dr. Fike, you don't just change the date.
You can.
If you
can
read
say this
state
is
code,
policy.
if I sat, or if Mr. Masha sat in his free time and read state code to see what they've updated and what has to be included in your policies, maybe. But you would have to know exactly what they are. I can't.
You're not bound by law to do what those people tell you.
Who are those people?
It's your policy, not theirs.
You're bound by the state code to follow state code, and that's,
You make a policy saying we follow the state code. Give it a date.
I just don't think that's
So
fair to our
was there an increase from last
Spend the
year
money,
to
raise
this
it.
year? I feel like literally there was a $10,000 increase.
oh no.
Unless I'm like thinking of something completely different.
Do you have any idea what, I mean, would that be something?
No.
Yeah.
I'm going to see if I can pull it up.
searching
I was looking.
It might have been 11,000
meeting.
last year.
I just feel like it was like 1,400.
Oh,
It's called a membership policy.
it would have been around the same time as
Agreement.
now, because you have to renew it every year.
PSBA
I mean, if somebody knows another option, or
last year.
please accept my resignation from the policy committee.
Last year's price was $12,214.89. It looks like, but we only had the standard membership plus the policy maintenance plus. So maybe it was less than that. I'm sorry. Hold on. We didn't have check marks number 2, 3, 4, 5 on what is. Hold on. Navigate there. June 18th, 2020.
So that was the year before.
Yeah, comparing to what we
I
paid
was,
last
yeah,
year.
trying to find it. I just searched through the minutes. So it might have been June 2021.
I don't know.
Okay, yeah, I see on July 13th, 2021, where we paid $12,214.89.
On July?
On July 13th. she
July
paid it.
13th of 2021.
So I wonder what meeting.
Not finding them.
There was like 1 million voting meetings in 2021.
Yep.
From the summer.
Part of my
No.
complaint.
I mean, honestly, if there's another option that's cheaper,
I just.
So if we don't need the check, we could save maybe $1,000 if we don't check mark off numbers 3, 4, and whatever. I'm still trying to find the 2021. 2020, 2021.
Policy maintenance.
It's not coming.
yeah.
PSBA.
So we're still in it right now as of until June 30th, 2022. Found everything that it
So
includes.
this
but-
2021, it looks like we paid $11,119. That's what was check marked. But I can't find the 2021.
So, can we bring this to a vote, please?
Please.
Yes. So I have a motion. I have a second.
Yes.
We've had discussion, so roll call.
Discussion, roll call.
Mr. Lizza?
Yes.
Mrs. O'Rear?
No.
Mrs. Smith?
Yes.
Dr. Fike?
No.
Mrs. Geyer?
Yes.
Mrs. Williams?
Yes.
You skimming.
Got Mr.
Mr.
Front.
Friend?
Yes.
He's like,
Motion carried, 5 yes, 2 no, 2 absent.
Adelphi Education Services.
Board is asked to approve the basic contract with Adelphi Education Services for the 2022-2023 school year.
I need a motion.
So moved.
Need a second.
Second.
Discussion. Roll call.
Mrs. O'Rear?
hold on, I don't know, I got booted out.
10 under new
Pass at
business.
the moment. 10 underwear.
Under new business.
Okay.
Mrs. Smith?
Yes.
Dr. Fike?
Yes.
Mr. Friend?
Yes.
Mrs. Geyer?
Yes.
Mr. Lizza?
Yes.
Mrs. Williams?
Yes.
Miss O'Rear?
Yes.
Motion carries, 7 yes, 2 absent.
Blackboard contract renewal.
Board is asked to renew the contract with Blackboard Incorporated for website and content management system software with web hosting for the period of 7/1/2022 through 6/30/2023 at a price of $5,100.
I need a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
Is this,
This is our website.
is Steve doing it? Is it pretty easy to do? Like you like the actual, I don't know what they call it in IT terms.
Yeah, it's better. And
Website.
previous years, we were actually paying more, and it's been negotiated down. $7,800.
Yeah. So, good.
They made it more reasonable.
Yeah. It definitely looks better.
Yeah, the
So,
website does look good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Much so, much so.
I like it.
Any other discussion? Roll call.
Mrs. Smith?
Yes.
Dr. Fike?
Yes.
Mr. Friend?
Yes.
Mrs. Geyer?
Yes.
Mr. Lizza?
Yes.
Mrs. O'Rear?
Yes.
Mrs. Williams?
Yes.
Motion carries, 7 yes, 2 absent.
Student enrollment in St. Vincent Bearcat BEST program.
Board is asked to approve the enrollment of a district student in the St. Vincent's Bearcat BEST program for the 2022-2023 school year. The cost of the program is $33,915.84 per student per year. ESY, $3,768.43 for the student per year. And that would include, or that would also have to include transportation.
Need a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
What is this?
It's a program for students that it's after high school, we're now required to provide educational services for students up to age 21. This would be providing a student that service.
Special education.
Special-
Oh, I'm like, whoa. What?
So,
Okay, special education. Okay, sorry. I'm like, well, that cares. Sorry.
Any other discussion? Roll call.
Dr. Fike?
Yes.
Mr. Friend?
Yes.
Mrs. Geyer?
Yes.
Mr. Lizza? Mrs. O'Rear?
Oh, goodness. Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Mrs. Smith?
Yes.
Mrs. Williams?
Yes.
Motion carries, 7 yes, 2 absent.
Yeah, we're gonna.
Have we always done that? We've always used
This is a new
This is
program.
new.
I'd like to make a motion to table the next item.
Am I able to make a motion to table the next item? Which
Yes.
is, have a motion. I need a second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Before we move
Just
on.
to, just
Should
to,
I read this?
we should identify what it is for the public.
This was the resolution for the Southmoreland's proposed general fund budget and posting of Southmoreland's 2022-2023 fiscal year proposed final general fund budget with tax increase within the Act 1 index. We'll be tabling this until next Thursday.
Did we actually go to the voice vote?
You want me to voice vote or just all those in
To
favor?
to table, yeah, all of
Okay.
those in favor.
I did all those in favor.
I apologize.
That's all right.
Gotcha.
I did do that, right?
Yes, we did. Yeah.
All right.
Before we move on to personnel, I just wanted to see if we could offer,
Yep. If you would like to leave, you don't have to.
go do your senior fun stuff.
We got nothing going on tonight.
Okay, all right. I mean,
Can I go?
imagine
Place?
you'd want to be here.
It is entertaining.
This time of year, so you're going to enjoy it.
Moving on to personnel, bus drivers for Quest.
The board is asked to approve at the recommendation of Quest Busing the following individuals: Mohammed E. Al-Shanak, all clearances current and on file with administration. Roberta N. Prinky, all clearances are current and on file with administration. Amanda J. Thompson, all clearances are current and on file with administration.
I need a motion.
So moved.
I need a second.
Second.
Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Friend?
Yes.
Mrs. Geyer?
Yes.
Mr. Lizza?
Yes.
Mrs. O'Rear?
Yes.
Mrs. Smith?
Yes.
Dr. Fike?
Yes.
Mrs. Williams?
Yes.
Motion carries, 7 yes, 2 absent.
Hiring of elementary school counselor.
Board is asked to approve the hiring of Alexis Luthold as an elementary school counselor for the 2022-2023 school year at an M1 salary of $46,045 using ESSER 3 funding. This is a one-year position. Her tentative start date will be August 26, 2022. All clearances are current and on file with administration.
Need a motion.
So moved.
I need a second. Discussion. Roll call.
Mrs. Geyer?
Yes.
Mr. Lizza?
Yes.
Mrs. O'Rear?
Yes.
Mrs. Smith?
Yes.
Dr. Fike?
Pass.
Mr. Frond?
Yes.
Mrs. Williams?
Yes.
6 yes, 1 pass, 2 absent. Motion carried.
Masonry workers for Wilson Restoration.
Board is asked to approve at the recommendation of Wilson Restoration the individuals working on our high school facade. All clearances are current and on file with the administration. Work is tentatively scheduled to begin June 6, 2022.
I need a motion.
So moved.
I need a second.
Second.
Discussion.
I just don't think it should be voted on.
What we said we weren't doing.
don't-
Exactly what we said we weren't doing.
I didn't
Whole
think this had a
motion
purpose.
is exactly what we said we weren't doing.
Now, we said we weren't including their names.
Again, this is every single thing that we said we weren't doing. This what this does. So, any other discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Lizza?
Yes.
Mrs. O'Rear?
Yes.
Mrs. Smith?
Yes.
Dr. Fike?
Yes.
Mr. Frond?
Yes.
Mrs. Geyer?
Yes.
Mrs. Williams?
Pass. Resignation of junior class sponsor.
The board is asked to accept the resignation of Josh Pajak as junior class sponsor effective the end of the 2021-2022 school year and authorize the administration to post a supplemental position for the 2022-2023 school year at a supplemental salary of $1,650.
I need a motion.
So moved.
I need a
Second.
Discussion. Roll call.
Mrs. O'Rear?
Yes.
Mrs. Smith?
Yes.
Dr. Fike?
Yes.
Mr. Frond?
Yes.
Mrs. Geyer?
Yes.
Mr. Lizza?
Yes.
Mrs. Williams?
Yes.
Motion carries, 7 yes, 2 absent.
Resignation of National Honor Society sponsor.
The board is asked to accept the resignation of Robert Zachary Cavalier as sponsor of the National Honor Society effective the end of the 2021-2022 school year and authorize the administration to post a supplemental position for the 2022-2023 school year at a supplemental salary of $1,050.
I need a motion.
So moved.
Need a second.
Second.
Discussion. Roll call.
Mrs. Smith?
Yes.
Dr. Fike?
Yes.
Mr. Friend?
Yes.
Mrs. Geyer?
Yes.
Mr. Lizza?
Yes.
Mrs. O'Rear?
Yes.
Mrs. Williams?
Yes.
Motion carries. 7 yes, 2 absent.
Reinstating building level team leaders.
Board is asked to approve the reinstatement of building level team leaders for the 2022-2023 school year. The list of proposed team leaders include kindergarten team leader, first grade team leader, second grade team leader, third grade team leader, fourth grade team leader, fifth grade team leader, elementary itinerant team leader, sixth grade team leader, seventh grade team leader, eighth grade team leader, middle school itinerant team leader, school counselor team leader, special education team leader, high school math department team leader, high school science department team leader, high school English department team leader, high school social studies department team leader, high school itinerant team leaders. The proposed supplemental salaries for each position is $3,250, which results in an increase in the budget of $83,602.35, which includes FICA and Psers. This proposed expenditure would be included in ESSER 3 spending. The job description is attached.
I need a motion.
So moved.
Need a second.
Second.
Discussion.
So what happens when ESSER's 2 money runs out of $83,602? Where are we going to find that for the team leaders?
That was my question. So I'm not
Full happy here.
I'm not a advocate for this one way or the other. However, it's part of the 3-year plan. So every other person that we have hired and we have put ESSER's 3 money behind it has basically been a 1-year deal. So is this for 1 year? Is this, this was removed from the budget because we didn't have the money to fund this. So that was how many years ago that we all sat here and watched things just be chipped away, and now we're bringing this back. But how are we going to fund this in the 2nd year and the 3rd year of the 3-year plan? I mean, those are just things that we need to be thinking about moving forward.
My other question is, do we need to amend it to say to approve and post?
We would need to post.
There's no names for this.
No,
Right. This is just a post.
We're bringing them back.
bringing
and
them
then
back.
We'd like to, you want to post them now, right?
Yes,
So
because there's an application process.
should we amend it to say and post?
So I need a motion to amend the motion.
I'll do that.
You need a second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So I'd like to make the motion now include and to post. I move to make the motion that.
I second
Need a
the
second.
motion. Or did I have to first?
Any other discussion?
Yeah, I have a question, Michelle. Several of these positions include all the buildings. How is that going to be handled?
The itinerants,
No. You have school counselor, team leader, so they're at every building. Okay, and you have special ed in every building, and you have, how do they team lead? How do they do that?
they would have to designate time either before school or after school or within the.
Before or after school?
Or they're within the common time during the school day.
You understand my question, as it crosses over all the buildings.
I'm-
So you appoint a team leader for a counselor who's located at the elementary. What do they do? with
Well,
the
they
rest-
still,
You
in today's world, we could also Zoom. There's the
They do
capacity.
Zoom?
Zoom.
Zoom.
I mean, I spent half my morning on Zoom conferences
Okay.
with the IU. So.
Okay. That's how you do that. That's all
The
right.
same list that we had before. So we had previously had a special education team leader and a
No.
guidance team leader.
No. There was not an elementary itinerant nor counsel or special education.
So are these listed in the contract, SCA's contract?
The itinerants or the team leaders were
Did it list out?
brought that.
Okay, and this is for 1 year, right?
Well, it doesn't say that.
No, it doesn't say
It
that.
doesn't say that.
Oh, I thought it said
No. It says
restatement
assessors-
ability for the 2022-23 school year.
So is it just 1 year?
My paper says
Because
that.
everything else has said 2022, 2023, this position is for 1 year.
Yeah.
But that's not what this one says. Well, I mean, it says that at the top, but it doesn't specifically
You would
say
think
that
it
it's
would
only a
say
1 year.
Beginning the 2022-2023.
Oh, I see what
school
you're
year.
So
saying.
it says it's beginning, or it
It
says?
should say,
Okay.
if you want it for more than 1 year, it should
Want it for
say
more than 1
beginning
year.
in the 2022-2023
You
school
could
year.
interpret that either way, yeah. As a 1 year or beginning in that year, yeah, I see.
The,
So we felt that we had more success academically when we had these things.
we do believe that, yes.
Still have to pay for them, whether they're successful.
Correct.
Yeah, that's the problem.
And so here's my concern, because it's not just this, it's many other things that we have cut from the budget and slowly have just brought them back. To now we are in the same position, basically, that we were prior to years ago when we cut hundreds of thousands of dollars from the budget because we couldn't afford it. We are now back to the place where I think we're pretty close to have brought back every single thing that we cut.
Pretty close.
I mean, you know, that year we didn't cut the aides, we cut them the following year. We've now brought them back, not to the same extent that they were, but that cost is still back again.
You mean we cut the aides before we would cut team leaders?
We cut team leaders the first year and then the
And
second
then,
year.
oh, okay, I was like, whoa.
So this is part of our 3-year plan that we haven't seen yet. So
Yes.
we're going to approve this without having seen their implementation or their deployment or what they're actually going to do.
We are meeting with SEA on Tuesday. We've tentatively scheduled a meeting with them. We're going to outline our 3-year plan with them, and then we're going to roll it out.
And so there are job descriptions for these positions?
They're, it's attached.
Attached.
What?
They're attached,
Yeah.
Dr. Fike?
There are job descriptions.
It's a
I believe they are.
it's
Yeah, it is.
multi-purpose.
Okay, do you evaluate their effectiveness or
I
anything?
want to see, I want to see how in the 3-year plan this is going to be effective to improving test scores and overall education. And I also want to see how we're going to fund this in years 2 and 3. I think that if you bring this back, I think that's great and wonderful, but they're not going to be up and running at an effective level in year 1. So if we're not going to be able to afford it in years 2 and 3, and is there a way to still achieve the same result without team leaders within the, whatever the plan is?
With that in mind, with the board looking for more information, it might be appropriate to table this item for now. But that being said, there is a pending motion to amend, so we have to dispose of that quickly first. There was the motion to amend to post the positions. So as soon as we get rid of that, we can table it. But
We did make a motion. We did have a voice vote.
I think, and then I second her, I
And then
second
we
her.
did have another motion.
Motion, no.
I retract
Not
it.
motion,
I
motion.
retract it.
Yeah.
I
do that?
apologize. I have selective hearing tonight apparently for the eyes.
That's
I
okay.
apologize.
So so they have made a motion to include the posting.
I retract. my
So do we
motion.
just retract that motion?
That's fine. You can rescind it.
To retract.
Yeah. Okay.
I retract my second.
Great. Okay, so now what do I do?
So now we need a motion
Motion
to
to table.
table.
I'll make a motion to table.
I'll second that.
Any discussion?
Yes, Mr. Mashin, can you answer the question that I asked about, are they listed individually in the teachers' contracts?
They are, with the exception of the counselor and the
So we would need to also have
Special
the
ed.
MOU.
MOU with the
Special
SEA
ed's not in there.
if we're going to do this.
I've talked to Mrs., but it would be best if we had it.
Yeah, since they're not included in that
Is that
contract.
another MOU?
Yes.
Well, we have to know if it's for 1 year or forever.
Yes, we also need, Mr. Masha, if you could ask if it's 1 year or...
Okay, so I have a motion to table and I have a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Job description for custodial utility employee.
Board is asked to approve the job description for custodial utility employee.
I need a motion.
So moved.
I need a second.
Second.
Discussion.
Do you have discussion?
Yeah.
Roll call.
Oh, no, wait.
Okay.
So, okay, so a utility custodian, shift coverage, they're only to perform these duties during shift coverage? Like, they're not gonna come in and just cut the grass, even though it's somebody else's duty to cut the grass? Like, somebody's not gonna say, okay, well, I'm having a utility employee go cut the grass, because I would just hope not, because then that would allow that employee or other employee to...
All employees have bids, so they have to still perform their job.
Right, and I understand. I just don't want, like, say, a utility employee to come in and the supervisor gets to, or whoever gets to tell them, like, you're doing this because I need this particular employee to go do something else. You know what I mean? Like, that's, I just want to make sure, because...
Each employee has a specific bid and responsibility they're required to do.
I just think this is such a random job description.
Yeah, like, that's why I was...
It says about assigned to the 3 to 11:30, but then the first thing is to make sure the flag is raised and unlock the doors. And then in the summer, they have to help with student lunches. And it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense as a job description.
I have an issue with the note that's on page 3 when it says additions to the utility custodial job description for the 22-23 school year may be added to and or changed as needed to meet specific needs or requirements. Maintain all flags in the district. Assist with evening events as required.
Who gets to decide when
doesn't even
the
make
job
sense to me.
description changes?
Yeah.
Like,
I'm not okay with, that's very random.
Yeah.
Like, you could just change it
Descriptions.
whenever you want.
A lot of the job descriptions, those do have a clause in there that says and duties as assigned, just as a blanket statement to cover certain things that would come up that you wouldn't necessarily think about while writing this.
Right.
So that's kind of like the other duties as assigned kind of language.
Who wrote this
I
job
understand that.
description?
Mr. Price was working on it.
He's working on it, or he
Well,
wrote this
he's the one
specific?
he's the one that did. This is
It says revised March 15th, 2020.
So,
So if there are issues with this job description, the board can provide feedback, they can vote it down, and it can be revised again and submitted after these areas of concern have been addressed. Because if you do have concerns with the job description now, I would recommend changing the description.
I mean, I'm confused because I think that basically this person's job should be to float between buildings and perform all of the jobs of all of the other custodians. Like, if that's what we're looking for, it's not a new job title. You're basically being hired to be afloat between the buildings, still conducting all of the same jobs that the people in those buildings conduct. And there should be job descriptions for that.
I asked Mark Price that, and that's what he said it was, what you just said.
But that's not what this is. This is a whole new job description.
He said that's what it meant.
But that's not what we're conveying. So it's like this is a whole new job, not just we're hiring another custodian who will be available to float between buildings. You're providing a whole nother job description that doesn't match up with.
So I asked him what a utility person was. He said, well, they didn't like the word floater, so they just changed it to utility.
That's
It was semantics, he said, you know.
But if you're a floater, you're basically just doing
Whatever is.
that's in the other
That's
job.
what he said it meant.
Same job
He said it meant.
responsibilities.
Was there an
I think
issue
it
with the
should
word
be.
floater? Does this come back to you too?
I asked him about that, and he said that was the issue. Nobody
Yeah,
wanted,
the-
or so he put utility in there.
Association didn't like the word.
Yeah, they did.
floater.
Yeah, they didn't like.
Does this person have to float shifts? Because I was
They
confused
could
why.
potentially, depending
I guess.
on who
Can we
calls
just
off.
vote this down and get all these answered?
I need a motion we have a motion, we have a second.
Second, yep.
We've had discussion. Can I now have a motion to table this, or do I need to vote the item down and then table?
You could conceivably table it, but my recommendation would be, I think it would be cleaner to vote it down and then to later review the revised version of the job description.
So I have a motion, I have a second, and I can voice vote this, correct?
Yes.
So all those in favor of the motion, which it was to approve this position, all those in favor? Opposed?
No.
Aye.
Oh.
Okay.
We're supposed to say nay or
I
aye?
don't know what we say, nay or aye.
Nay? Oh. I don't
That's
know.
right, she said nay.
What's the books?
Nay is fine, but how you did it's fine. I think the intent is clear.
Okay.
Robert's rules actually allows for a little flexibility on what word you use. But
Okay. Okay.
So Robert's rule, we say nay.
Sound like a-
yes, that's one of the ways. But there's a little flexibility. You can say nay or no or yeah.
He's like asterisk. For those of you who don't know what to say, just
Right.
say something.
Make a noise.
Asterisk.
Yeah.
FMLA for employee 2091.
Board is asked to approve an FMLA request from employee 2091 from May 10th, 2022 through July 31st, 2022. All sick leave must be used in conjunction with the use of FMLA.
You need a motion?
So moved.
I need a second. Discussion? Roll call.
Mrs. Geyer?
Yes.
Mr. Lizza?
Yes.
Mrs. O'Rear?
Yes.
Mrs. Smith?
Yes.
Dr. Fike?
Yes.
Mr. Frond?
Yes.
Mrs. Williams?
Yes.
Motion carries 7 yes, 2 absent.
Retirement of employee number 1180.
The board is asked to accept the retirement of Southmoreland School District employee 1180 effective August 5th, 2022.
You need a motion?
So moved.
Need a second?
Second.
Discussion?
How come sometimes it says the name of the person and sometimes it says a number?
Yeah, you should, for retirement, I mean, you should.
Yeah, for retirement, I don't see why we can't use the employee name.
I was just
For
curious if
for
there's-
FMLA, I think it should be
Yeah, I
a
understood
number,
that.
but
I just
for
didn't know, because
retirement.
sometimes we've done, retirements where it would say retirement of such and such a person, then we say, thank you for your service to the district.
Yeah.
So thank you,
Yeah.
employee number 1180.
Thank you, employee number 1180.
You make a great point. I mean, for sensitive matters like FMLA or disciplinary action,
Thank you.
yeah, it's better to use a number, but in this context, yeah, probably should have their name to recognize them and thank them for their service.
It is Brenda Husband.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brenda.
Brenda number 118.
Any other discussion? Roll call?
Mr. Lizza?
Yes.
Mrs. O'Rear?
Yes.
Mrs. Smith?
Yes.
Dr. Fike?
Yes.
Mr. Frond?
Yes.
Geyer?
Yes.
Mrs. Williams?
Yes.
Motion carries 7 yes, 2 absent.
And I will need a motion for a 5-minute recess
So moved.
for people to call in.
Second.
That may no longer
Sorry,
be,
we don't have to do that?
no longer need to do that because these are
Wow.
open meetings.
That's wonderful. Sorry, I wasn't here.
Motion to adjourn.
What? Wait a minute. What happened?
Right, we don't
I
need,
seconded a motion, and I don't know what it was.
what do you mean?
You said you were looking for a motion, or maybe I just motioned it.
Mike's already leaving.
I said I'll need a motion for 5-minute recess, but I don't need that anymore because we
Oh.
don't have to do that. So I need a motion to adjourn.
Christie already
Did it.
gave it to you,
Okay, I need a second.
and I seconded it.
Second. Oh.
All those in favor? Aye.
Bye.
Opposed? Okay. Can you make sure we're shut off? I just need to make sure we don't need